awesome kids. Today, we are going to do a step-by-step drawing of the planets in order. Here's my example. We have all 8 planets and the sun. You are going to do yours on a little bit of smaller paper. Let's start by grabbing a yellow or an orange oil pastel. Doesn't matter. We know that the sun is both those colors. I'm going to start with an orange. And we're going to start on the very left-hand side of our paper. Our sun shouldn't be too huge. I don't want it to be a huge circle. We're just going to put a little bit of it because it's so big. I'm going to take it and turn my oil pastel on its side and then drag to make one little part orange. Make it kind of round. If you can't see it very well like that, I would put a little bit of yellow on top. Make that C. That stands out even better. You could also add a little bit of red if you wanted to. Just a little, not a lot. That's going to be our sun. Now we know the first planet after the sun is Mercury, and Mercury is the smallest planet, and it actually doesn't have a whole lot going on. So we're going to use a gray oil pastel, and we're going to put our Mercury right next to the sun. It doesn't take it very long to orbit, so we're going to take the gray, and we're going to make a really, really small dot. Really small, not very big. The next planet is Venus, and Venus has a lot of activity going on. We know there's volcanoes, so we're going to use what I call kind of like a gold color. It's not quite a yellow, but it's more of just like a golden color. And we're going to put that right next to Mercury. Venus is a little bit bigger, so I'm going to make this one just a little bit bigger, not too big, because we know we got some big planets coming up. There's my Venus. Can anyone guess what the third planet is? I'll give you a hint. We're on it right now. I hope you're saying Earth. To start with Earth, we're going to use a really light blue, and we're going to put this one about the same distance right next to Venus. I'm going to make a little circle. And Venus is called our sister planet, so we're about the same size as Venus. I want to make my Earth about the same size as Venus. Now this is my ocean. For my land, I'm going to use a green. I can choose any green I want to. And I'm just going to add some squiggly lines to my Earth. Still keeping a little bit of blue, but making it like that. I'll show you up close. There's my 3 planets so far. Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Earth. The next planet is very red. We call it Mars. I'm going to grab a red oil pastel. And Mars is smaller than Earth and Venus, but it's not as small as Mercury. So I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to make one that's kind of in between. Not as big as Earth, but not as small as Mercury. Put that red one back on the tray. If you're like me, your fingers start to get a little bit dirty. Just try to ignore them because you know we still have 4 more planets and our fingers are going to get even more dirty. The next planet, we're entering into the giants. The biggest planet that we have in our solar system is called Jupiter. And Jupiter is going to be very, very big. We're going to start with either a white or a peachy color. I'm going to look on mine. Let's see. This would be the peachy color wrapper. If I can't find a peachy color, I can kind of go with just a white. I'm going to use this one right here. This is my peachy color. Jupiter is huge, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it almost the size of my paper. Not quite. I'm going to put it right here, and I'm going to start by just drawing a circle. That's about as big as Jupiter is. Now, if I want to, I can use the tip like this, or I can turn my oil pastel on the side and color it like that. Kind of goes a little bit quicker if I turn it on its side. If I make a mistake, that's okay. I just keep going. Filling it all in with that nice peachy color. Wow, that's big. Jupiter is huge. Now, Jupiter has lots of storms on it. It's a very gassy planet, and they have these lines that go around it. And I also want to be able to make the big storm that we know has been on Jupiter for a very long time. So I'm going to use some browns. Find a brown oil pastel. And I'm going to make my lines that go across. I might make a little squiggly line here. Not too many, maybe 3 or 4. make some lines. I can also add some of that gold color that we used for Venus. I can also put some of that color on Jupiter. It's kind of brown and yellow. For the storm, I like to use a little bit of brown and a little bit of red. You can pick a spot and just kind of make a swirl, not too big. Take a little bit of red, add that to that. I might add some red someplace else. So there's my Jupiter, okay? I have my storm. It's about the same size as my paper. We know that's a big planet. Now the next planet is one of my favorites. The next planet is Saturn. And we know by pictures that Saturn is like a brownish yellow color. So you can choose a brown color. You can use that color that we used for Venus and the color that we added a little bit to Jupiter. I'm gonna start with yellow. And Saturn is a little bit smaller than Jupiter. We're not gonna make it the whole width of the paper. We're gonna make it a little bit less. But I wanna save room for those rings. It's still a big planet. I'm gonna draw that yellow circle. And again, I can color it in using the tip like this, or if I want to, I can turn it on its side and drag it. Kind of goes a little bit faster. There we go. Make it nice and yellow. Now for the rings, I'm gonna use that gold color. And a ring is kind of like making a C. So what I do is I start on one side and I make a C that goes all the way around. You see how I do that again? Watch this. Start here, up, down, and around. I could make them go a little bit wider if I wanted to. Saturn has lots of rings. There's my rings for Saturn. So far we have our 4 terrestrial planets: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. We have Jupiter, and we have Saturn. We only have 2 more planets left, and they're the easiest planets to draw. The first one is Uranus, and Uranus is really cold, and it really is just one color. Uranus, when we take pictures of it, is a light blue. So I'm gonna grab a light blue oil pastel. And Uranus is a little bit smaller than Saturn, but not as small as our terrestrial planets up here. So I'm gonna start and I'm gonna make a circle. And then I'm gonna color that circle in. This one's a little bit smaller. I might just use the tip of my oil pastel. There's Uranus. Put this one back on the tray. Again, my fingers are getting sticky. Hold on. We're gonna wash them in just a minute. We have 1 more planet to go. Last planet. Can anyone tell Miss Walker what that planet is? It is Neptune. So Neptune is a little bit darker blue. I'm gonna use a dark blue, also called a royal blue. It's kind of about the same color as our paper, but it will show up, I promise. Neptune is about the same size as Uranus. I'm gonna make that circle. Then I'm gonna color it in. There we go. Look at that. That wasn't that hard. Let's see. Let's double check that we have all of our planets. We start with the sun, which you should only have a little bit of it showing. We have Mercury, that's gray. Venus, that's gold. Earth, that's blue and green. Mars, that's red. Jupiter, our colorful planet, is brown and cream and red. Saturn should be a yellow color. Uranus is our light blue. And Neptune is our dark blue. Now, if you're like me, you might have forgotten to wrote your name on the back of it. What you could do right now is just carefully flip your paper over. Grab a color. I like to use white because I know it signs up really well. Take your time and write your name. There we go, and it's all done.